The black-footed ferret, also known as the black-footed ferret, is a medium-sized mustelid, a member of the weasel family. Adult ferrets are similar in size to minks and weigh between 1.4 to 2.5 pounds, 0.6 to 1.1 kilograms. They have black feet, a tail with black tips, and a black facial mask. The rest of their fur is a beige color, which lightens to almost white around the forehead, muzzle, and throat. Black-footed ferrets once lived in the Great Plains wherever colonies of prairie dogs, black-tailed, white-tailed, and Gunnison's prairie dogs, were found. Today, they are considered extinct in Canada and endangered in the United States. A captive breeding program has supported reintroduction efforts in the western United States, southern Canada, and northern Mexico. Black-footed ferrets are solitary and spend most of their time underground in prairie dog burrows, searching for food, raising their young, sleeping, and protecting themselves from predators. The breeding season is between March and April, and the litters usually produce 3 to 5 kits that are born in May and June. When the kits are about 2 months old, the mothers move them from burrow to burrow and begin to teach them how to hunt prairie dogs. Ferrets are nocturnal and can be seen as they stand out if a ferret travels over the ground between prairie dog burrows. In the NFL Hall of Fame, you can find these sculptures that show the size of the legs of some of the biggest players in the sport. This one is of Leonard Davis. In his playing days, he was 198 centimeters tall and weighed 163 kilograms. Look at how they took his mold. This must be the coolest backpack in the world. It works with a fan and 500 blinking LEDs that display moving images through a persistence of vision illusion. The only downside is that you can't store things in it. There seems to be no signs of intelligent life anywhere. Did you know that you can hire a llama to be your wedding best man? This service is offered by a farm called Adventures in the state of New York. Look at her little suit. These are the boots that the U.S. Special Forces wore during the Vietnam War. The sole was designed to leave tracks that imitated the bare foot of peasants, thus concealing their movements. Solifuges look like a combination of a scorpion and a spider, but they are neither, although they do belong to the arachnid family. In 2010, this radiology and imaging company released its model calendar for sale. As you can see, they take their line of work very seriously. Wolves are very social animals. They spend most of their lives in packs. This is what happens when one of their members reunites with the pack. Have you heard the phrase, one eye on the cat and the other on the garabado? A few decades ago, when there were no refrigerators, food was stored high in the kitchen inside a basket called a garabado. This also served to keep food out of reach of animals. Well, almost all of them. Cats were the only ones able to reach the garabado. You had to keep an eye on both. This is how you eat cotton candy in less than 3 seconds. This is the art of Thomas Medicus. At first glance, it seems nonsensical, but if you look at it from the right angle, you'll see something else. In fact, several things. On each face, you'll see something different. This is the McKinley Explorer, a train with huge windows that travels through Alaska. That's what I call traveling in style. Did you know that some people have gray eyes? She is Mega Richmond. Less than 1% of the population has this eye color. From 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in less than a second. 0.956 seconds to be exact. This is the fastest accelerating electric car in the world. The restaurant Forks and Films has a very interesting concept. They play a movie in the background and serve on your plate the foods that are eaten in the movie. Here's Ratatouille, and here's Harry Potter. This is what happens if you leave an egg soaking in vinegar for a couple of days. The shell dissolves completely and only the inner membrane remains. She is Kika, a makeup artist. Look how she turns her body and face into a terrifying toy. Did you know that in Denmark, grades are different? Instead of using a 10 to evaluate a perfect result, they use a 12. Here you can see what each grade means. This motorcycle is a pizzeria. It's one of the crazy inventions of Colin Firth. The pizza cooks while the delivery person gets to your house. Could this be the future of pizza delivery? This is the slipperiest toilet in the world, so much so that it can't get stained. To test its efficiency, they poured a large amount of substances into it, from dirty water, milk, yogurt, to synthetic feces. This is Sheba, the most branched agave cactus in the world. So far it has 80 branches, but more continue to come out. Lizards don't move much on low-friction surfaces. In 1994, Chris Clark bought the domain name pizza.com. He spent $20 a year renewing it until 2008 when he decided to sell it at auction. It sold for $2.6 million. This is how Joseph, the inventor of these complex machines that complicate the simplest tasks, wakes up in the morning. This is how he drinks coffee. These plants force him to get out of bed. The best part is the bathroom. Look how they rinse him as if he were in a car wash. This little dog is Yogi, a cross between a Shih Tzu and a poodle. He is famous on the internet because from certain angles it seems like he has a human face, especially tonight before going to sleep. BitHead 1000 modifies video game consoles so you can see inside them. Look at these transparent game cubes, PlayStation 2s, Xbox, and PlayStation 4s. Did you know that the John Wick movies were initially going to be called Scorn? In the end, they decided to change the name and give it the name of the character, all because Keanu Reeves couldn't remember it. Look at how these machines put bristles on toothbrushes. They do it very quickly. These others cut them to the desired length and give them their final finish, a little thinner at the tips. He is Lachlan Howard, the 6-time world champion of Irish dance. This type of dance is characterized by its linear dances where the upper body hardly moves. But what about the feet? This is the extreme attraction at the top of the Canton Tower in China. It is an obstacle course over 300 meters off the ground. Would you dare? I would be like this kid whose legs are shaking. Greenland whales travel long distances under the ice. To breathe, they look for areas where the ice is thinner and break it with their heads. Do you know why we make this sound when we get scared? It's an evolutionary reaction. Your body prepares by pulling in as much oxygen as possible in case you need to flee from danger. Benjamin Shine creates works of art using tulle, a very lightweight fabric. He uses an iron to refine the final details. This is the new LG display. You're not seeing wrong. It's a suitcase. You can use it vertically and horizontally. The best part is that it's touch sensitive. Look at how they play video games on it. Some Mercedes-Benz cars and trucks have this mode that makes the car bounce to get out of the sand. But people use it for something else. The chest thump of gorillas is so strong that it can be heard up to a kilometer away. They do it to attract females and mark their territory. Did you know that in Asia, they have competitions to see who can create the best melody with the revolutions of a motorcycle? This is the music video of the Ukrainian band 5 Nisa. At first glance, it seems like it was made entirely by computer, but in this behind the scenes, you can see it was largely created with practical effects. Look at how the singers hung from cables. Calling first turned a BMW E30 into a jacuzzi on wheels. They sealed the doors, the floor, and the pedals to keep the water from spilling out. Have you ever felt your phone vibrate in your pocket, but when you pull it out, there was nothing? This phenomenon has a name, phantom vibration syndrome, and 9 out of 10 people have experienced it. It is due to our growing sense of needing to be constantly available. This is how clouds disappear. When the temperature rises, the air evaporates the droplets and ice crystals. This happens very slowly. In this video, you can see the process in fast motion. Did you know that some ancient cultures used ants to suture wounds? They would bring the insect close and press its jaws against the skin. What you see here is the security vault of a bank. It was the only thing that survived the passage of a tornado rated F5.